People want cultural relativism to be superior to observation and critical analysis so bad. It's just never going to happen. The reality around you exists a priori whether you like it or not. That's not subject to your traditional foundations or what you believe. It just is. If reality changes, your social construct has to change. It's not somehow equal to reality whether you think it is or not. Your belief is not your reality just because you say it is. Knowledge is only partially constructed on top of an objective reality foundation. Yes, we speculate about reality after it emerges. It doesn't emerge after we speculate about it. We may discover and iterate like we do in modern engineering, but what we do is always physically possible. There's no belief or magic. Yes, knowledge is constructed. The world in itself doesn't equal knowledge. It equals being. So yes, knowledge is constructed a posteriori. But constructivism is disingenuous on the surface as it doesn't give enough credit to the fact that without reality, there is no social construct. There is no language to define objective reality because there is no reality. The objective foundation that it takes to have knowledge exists a priori. It's interesting because cell phones are only completely realized a posteriori after experience. They now affect our physical reality. So in a way, yes, knowledge is constructed after experience and affects our reality with some circular causation. But we can never forget the universe exists before and after your perception. If it changes, your knowledge has to change. There's no choice for you. You don't get to just believe things are the same. Let's talk about constructivism. I am very tired of relativism, so that's what you hear in this tone. Constructivism in philosophy is a theory about the nature of knowledge and reality that argues knowledge is actively constructed by individuals or groups rather than passively acquired from the world. Constructivism challenges the traditional view that knowledge is a reflection of an objective reality, suggesting instead that what we know is shaped by our experiences, cultural contexts, and cognitive processes, also known as relativism. Key ideas of constructivism in philosophy. Knowledge as constructed. Constructivist philosophy asserts that knowledge does not represent an independent reality, but is constructed by individuals through their experiences and interactions with the world. This view suggests that what we consider knowledge is contingent on human perception and interpretation. Role of social and cultural context. Constructivists emphasize the influence of social, cultural, and historical contexts in shaping knowledge. They argue that knowledge is often a product of social interactions and constructed within a cultural framework. Epistemological relativity. Constructivism suggests that knowledge is relative and contingent rather than absolute and universal. This means that what is considered true or valid knowledge can vary depending on different perspectives, cultures, or contexts. This approach contrasts with foundationalism, which seeks universal objective truths. Cognitive constructivism. Cognitive constructivism focuses on how individuals construct knowledge through cognitive processes. Knowledge develops in stages through a process of assimilation and accommodation where individuals integrate new information with existing cognitive structures. Radical constructivism. A more extreme version of constructivism, radical constructivism, suggests that all knowledge is the result of an individual's construction and that it's impossible to access an objective reality outside of one's experiences. According to this view, reality is unknowable and our understanding of the world is entirely constructed. Constructivism and ethics. In ethics, constructivism argues that moral truths are not discovered but are constructed through practical reasoning and social agreement. Principles of justice or moral norms are outcomes of a constructive process that reflects rational deliberation and consensus. Implications of constructivist philosophy. Challenge to objectivity. Constructivism challenges the notion of objective knowledge, suggesting that all knowledge is subjective and influenced by human cognition and social context. So right there, I actually agree with that. It doesn't become knowledge until after it's perceived and constructed. So this I agree with. But anything that goes beyond that and subverts reality that, is objective because it exists in itself outside of human perception. It exists before experience. So it might not be knowledge, but it's being. So it doesn't come into being, which which is kind of what is implied when you say, oh, well, it's not knowledge. Knowledge only exists after perception. If you're not very careful about how you explain the difference between knowledge and being, then you can mislead a lot of people who won't pay attention to the details. And that's what I see going on here, that there's not enough distinction in the definition to say that while reality does exist, before experience, it has to be constructed to become knowledge. There's just not that definition. I don't see it anywhere in all the different sources I've looked at. So that's all I'm saying. Knowledge, yes, it does have to be constructed after perception. That I get. Diverse perspectives. By recognizing the constructed nature of knowledge, constructivism opens up a space for multiple perspectives and understandings, which can vary across different cultures, historical periods, and individual experiences. See, that kind of shit, man, that's relativism, screaming relativism. Constructivism in philosophy thus offers a perspective that reshapes how we think about knowledge, truth, and reality, emphasizing the active role humans play in shaping their understanding of the world. So that's constructivism. Objective reality is a thing, no matter how hard they try. Social constructs are contingent upon physical reality. If physical reality says it's a thing, it's a thing. Social constructs like language play a role, but we have cameras, computers, all sorts of measuring equipment like LiDAR, satellites, lasers. But yeah, your social construct is so important. If you like this kind of philosophical subject matter and all its sarcastic nature, help us out by liking the video and subscribing to the channel.